Two challenges that defined me literally had to be discovering my purpose and then understanding the resources utilized to pull the purpose off. Back when I was 26 years old, like most individuals, you meet someone, you fall in love. And unfortunately for me, I put off going to school against my parents' wishes. They had desires for this brilliant child of theirs to go off to college and get a degree at an early age. I fell in love and decided to settle down. And unfortunately, like a lot of early relationships, they did not work out. And I found myself literally homeless for about a good 90 days. I was sleeping out of my car for some days. Some days I would sneak up to my job after hours, and I was actually sleeping in the job and hoping that I didn't get caught. My boss would walk in at 5 o'clock in the morning, not knowing that at 4 o'clock in the morning, I went into the restroom and washed myself up and got all the sleep out my eye. He'd say, Ellis, that's what I like about you. You got gusto. You're always the first to arrive. And I'm like, he has no idea I've been sleeping here all night. Right? And so that led to a massive depression. In other words, for me personally, because I lost everything that I thought I held so near and dear, I found myself moving back home to my parents' house at the age of 26. They had no room for me, so I was literally sleeping on the couch. All my belongings were slapped up against the wall. And every day I looked at the failure of my life compared to all my peers who graduated with me, I felt less and less of a reason to want to be around. And it got to a point where I ballooned about good 30, 40 pounds overweight. The finances were in disarray. In depression, I got fired from that job. And so I owed everybody money. I was hiding from my own cell phone to avoid the bill collectors. The car got repossessed. And at the lowest moment, I actually considered committing suicide and taking my life. I couldn't see value on why I was here. If everything I was working so hard to build would keep falling apart, why in the world do I want to stick around? I had one of the most vivid dreams that I could possibly ever imagine. I was actually at the site of my own funeral, which is odd because two things ran through my mind. Number one, I got to check the casket right to make sure they buried a brother and made sure a brother looked fly. Because they tell me whatever you die in, that's your death suit. I want to be up in heaven looking good, right? But then number two, I have to take a look and see who all was in the church with me, because there's some people that better be at my funeral when I'm not here, right? And so all the normal suspects were there. All the normal family members were there. However, there's a bunch of people that I had never seen before. And so I was confused in conversation, talking with God, saying, well, who are all these people? And then when I went outside the church in this dream, I saw the parking lot was full of cars and people were fighting to get into, parking spaces, and people were honking horns and getting angry at each other. And again, I'm confused trying to figure out who are all these people. And then it got brought to my attention. These are all the people you're going to get a chance to affect and benefit while you're here on the planet. It was at that moment I understood my purpose. See, one of the biggest problems I see with a lot of us, especially in the entrepreneurial sphere, we confuse entrepreneurship with making money. Believe this, you're here for more than just making money. Money is a byproduct of walking out the very thing you've been uniquely qualified and designed to do. You have to figure out your purpose. When you figure that out, you never get tired of it. You never get angry and upset about it. You never want to walk away from it. You are married to it to the hilt, and you'll say vows that you will never depart it. Through good times and bad times, you're going to be there, and you're going to rock with it all the way until it's time for you to officially leave this planet. So number one, I got good at figuring out my purpose. And then the second thing I did was I figured out what resources do I need to pull the purpose off with. The problem being is a lot of times I got to be leery that resources come and resources go. So resources could be that mentor, that coach that you have. Resources could be the money that you're sitting on right now, or that income tax return from my startup entrepreneurs is not sure what to do with it. Resources could be the education that you're being blessed with that's going to help you get this business off the ground. But the goal is not to be attached to the resource. For me in my life is to be attached to the source that provides the resource, which in my world is God. So as long as I'm connected to source, because you can't spell resource without the word source, you'll always be super successful. But I would say the two defining moments for me was getting clear on my purpose. So I'm not chasing everybody else's goals and dreams. And then number two, staying connected to source, which opens up the gateway for all the resources I'm going to need to make this goal and dream a reality.